Good afternoon. We start with this breaking news for our friends from LATAM. Russian President Vladimir Putin asked the Russian state and the Russian Duma to collect the oil and gas that is sold to Europe in Russian rubles and not accept any other currency.
Мною принято решение в самое короткое время реализовать комплекс мер по переводу оплаты. Начнем с этого, с нашего природного газа, переводу оплаты нашего природного газа, поставляемого в так называемые недружественные страны, за российские рубли.
On the other hand, ascensions continue to all the Russians, falling into ridicule. The chess grandmaster is suspended by the FIDE for the only crime of having Russian nationality and speaking in Russian.
Друзья, под ваши аплодисменты вновь на нашей сцене российский шахматист, гроссмейстер Сергей Корякин!
Дорогие друзья, мне очень приятно вас приветствовать. Может быть, многие из вас видели вчера новости, что меня не допустили до международных шахматных соревнований ввиду того, что у меня точка зрения, которая совпадает с большинством россиян. Я поддерживаю наш народ, наше государство, нашего президента, и за это меня отстранили от участия в турнирах. Но тем не менее я ни о чем не жалею. Для меня гораздо важнее ваша поддержка, ваше участие. Спасибо большое, что я получил вчера 1000. Спасибо. Я получил вчера 1000 слов поддержки, и для меня это самое главное. И я думаю, что жизнь все равно все расставит на свои места. Правда, она за нами, и в конечном счете мы победим. Спасибо вам большое.
Спасибо вам за вашу поддержку. Она придает нам сил, чтобы бороться за наш флаг, за наш гимн, за нашу страну. И, конечно, она придает уверенности в том, что наше дело правое, и вместе мы победим. Спасибо, Екатеринбург. Спасибо, Симален.
We continue with the news from Ukraine, and the North American Congress announced that the United States and Ukraine were manufacturing chemical weapons. Let's listen to the audio.
I only have a minute left. Let me ask you, does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
Ukraine has biological research facilities, which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian troops, Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
I'm sure you're aware that the Russian propaganda groups are already putting out there all kinds of information about how they've uncovered a plot by the Ukrainians to release biological weapons in the country and with NATO's coordination. If there's a biological or chemical weapon incident or attack inside of Ukraine, is there any doubt in your mind that 100% it would be the Russians that would be behind it?
There is no doubt in my mind, Senator, and it is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
evening for the emergency NATO summit. Its mission ramping up pressure on Vladimir Putin to stop the brutal siege of Ukraine. There are growing concerns the conflict could get worse. The head of the NATO alliance today discussing fears of a chemical or biological attack.
Any use of chemical weapons would totally change the nature of the conflict.
President Biden also acknowledged that possibility.
I think it's a real threat.
NATO announced it's doubling troop deployments on the eastern flank, sending 4 new battle groups to Bulgaria, Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia. Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky is scheduled to address the summit tomorrow, his latest plea for help on the global stage. The country's NATO ambassador told us today they expect more military support to be announced.
We are not naive. We know that there would be no NATO troops on our land, but military support, practical support, financial, humanitarian, can come also from NATO member states. And if this is the result of tomorrow's summit, we will be absolutely satisfied.
So in essence, his message to NATO is do more and do it faster.
Absolutely.
Another key item on the agenda, additional economic penalties on Russia. The president and other leaders expected to announce new sanctions against hundreds of members of Russia's parliament. And there's news tonight on Brittany Griner, WNBA player detained in Russia on drug possession charges. The State Department says a U.S. official was able to see her this week for the first time since she was detained in February. She's in good condition, and the State Department says it will be closely monitoring her case. Nora?
Ed O'Keefe, thank you.
Tell the world whether you believe President Putin is trying to scare the rest of the world and Ukraine by mentioning the nuclear option. Can you tell me that? And can you tell me that he would never use a nuclear weapon?
Two things. I would disagree with you. Firstly, President Putin was not the one who ruined Minsk Accords.
Okay.
That was Ukrainian side. This is number one. Number two, Ukrainian, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, handed in all the nuclear weapons to the Russian Federation. But unfortunately, in the year of 2022, just a couple of months ago, in Munich conference, President Zelensky started to speak about the possibility of generating a nuclear weapon on the territory of Ukraine. And most probably you have witnessed that.
I was actually there, Dmitry, and I actually interviewed him, and I do remember him saying, look what we have got for giving up our nuclear weapons. And the real issue is now, what do you expect other countries to do when you ask them to give up their nuclear weapons? Because, you know, territorial integrity and sovereignty has been violated again. Even your friends, the Chinese, have said they respect every nation's territorial integrity and sovereignty, including Ukraine's. Could I quickly ask you, though, I need to ask you this, because the world is afraid, and I want to know whether Putin intends the world to be afraid of the nuclear option. Would he use it?
President Putin intends to make the world listen to and understand our concerns. We've been trying to convey our concerns to the world, to Europe, to the United States, for a couple of decades, but no one would listen to us. And before it is too late, it was a decision to start to launch a special operation, military operation, to get rid of entire Russia that was created next to our border.
To get rid of Russia?
Anti-Russia. Because Ukraine started to be, it was formed by the Western countries, anti-Russia. This is the point.
Ukraine is a country, sovereign, around for a very, very long time. But I just want to know, I want to ask you again, is President Putin, because again, the Finnish president said to me that when he asked Putin directly about this, because President Putin has laid that card on the table, President Putin said that if anybody tries to stop him, very bad things will happen. And I want to know whether you are convinced or confident that your boss will not use that option.
Well, we have a concept of domestic security. and well, it's public. You can read all the reasons for nuclear arms to be used. So if it is an existential threat for our country, then it can be used in accordance with our concept.
Well,
there are no other reasons that were mentioned in that text.
So you are basically saying only an existential threat to your country. I still don't know whether I've got a full answer from you, and I'm just going to assume that President Putin wants to scare the world and keep the world on tenterhooks.
И мы обязательно реализуем все намеченные планы. Но дело не только в этих решениях. Так получилось, что начало операции совпало, совершенно случайно совпало с днем рождения одного из наших выдающихся военных.
Вперед, Россия! Вперед, Россия!
Взят под российскую державу. Крым — это...
Die NATO wird nicht Kriegspartei, da sind wir uns mit unseren europäischen Verbündeten und den Vereinigten Staaten einig. Über Jahrzehnte hinweg ist unsere Abhängigkeit von Öl, Kohle und Gas aus Russland gewachsen. Ja, wir werden diese Abhängigkeit beenden, so schnell wie das nur irgend geht. Das aber von einem Tag auf den anderen zu tun, hieße, unser Land und ganz Europa in eine Rezession zu stürzen. Hunderttausende Arbeitsplätze wären in Gefahr, ganze Industriezweige stünden auf der Kippe.